The room smelled like lilies and cheap perfume. "She looks peaceful," someone whispered behind me. I didn't turn. I just stared at the closed casket like it might open on its own. Emily was in there, or maybe she wasn't. I didn't know what to believe anymore. Jake nudged my shoulder. "You okay, man?" "Yeah." My voice cracked. "I'm just tired." He sat beside me in the front pew. "You haven't said a word all day. What's there to say?" I swallowed hard. "She's gone." Jake looked at me like I'd said something wrong. Maybe I had. I didn't cry, didn't even flinch when they said she died in a car crash. I just ... sad. Sarah stood across the room, arms folded, goss, glued to me like I owed her an answer. "She's been watching you," Jake muttered. I noticed. "Want me to ask her what her problem is?" "No." I clenched my jaw. She already made it clear. Jake sighed. "She thinks you're cold. Let her think that." He leaned closer. "Do you feel anything?" I stared at the casket. "That's the problem. I feel too much. But none of it makes sense." "Like what?" "Like confusion. Like I'm in the wrong place. Like this isn't real." Jake rubbed his hands together. "It's grief. That's how it works." The organ played softly as the priest began the eulogy. I didn't hear a word. My eyes stayed locked on Sarah now. She wasn't crying. Her face was tight, like she was holding something in something sharp. When the ceremony ended, people started. Leaving, I stayed behind. So did Sarah. She walked up slowly. "You didn't speak? Was I supposed to?" "Would have wanted you to." I looked at her. "You think this is what she wanted?" She frowned. "You sound angry." "I'm not angry, just ... confused." Sarah crossed her arms. "You haven't shed a single tear. Is that how we measure love now?" "She loved you," she whispered. "She doubted you'd love her back the same." My chest tightened. And dying proved what, exactly? Sarah's lips trembled, but she stayed silent. I stepped closer. "You know something?" "She's dead," she said quickly. "That's all that matters. That's not what I asked." She flinched. "Grief does weird things. Don't let it make you paranoid." "You think I'm paranoid?" "I think you're scared to feel anything." Jake returned with a coffee cup. "Everything good?" "No," I muttered, turning back to the casket. "Nothing's good." Sarah walked away fast. Jake handed me the cup. "What was that about? She's hiding something." Jake frowned. "Like what?" "I don't know." "But Emily, she never even told me where she was going that night. She was driving back from her mom's, right? That's what they said?" I took a sip. Bitter. Cold. "I didn't hear it from her. You think she lied to you?" I don't know what to think." We stood there in silence. Jake's hand on my shoulder felt too heavy. I shrugged it off and stepped toward the casket. "They wouldn't even let me see her," I whispered. "Said it was too brutal." Stayed quiet. "What if she's not in there?" He looked at me like I was losing it. "Man, I'm serious. What if none of this is real?" Jake hesitated. "You think someone faked her death?" I didn't say that. Sure. Thinking it, I ran a hand through my hair. She had secrets. Found a second phone in her drawer 2 weeks ago. She said it was for work. You believed her? I wanted to. Jake shifted uncomfortably. "You need rest, man. You've barely slept." I turned away. "I don't think this ends with a burial. You're not making sense." "Or maybe I'm the only one starting to." He walked out into the evening haze. I saw Sarah standing by a black car, whispering to someone I didn't recognize. She caught me watching and quickly turned away. "Who's that guy?" asked Jake. Shrugged. "Never seen him before." They looked nervous. Jake pulled his keys out. "Want me to ask?" "No." I started walking toward them. Sarah stepped in front of me fast. "Don't." "Why?" "Just let it go, please. Tell me who he is, a friend." "Yours, of hers?" I stepped back. "She's dead, remember?" Sarah's lips parted, but she said nothing. Jake pulled me by the arm. "Let's go." I yanked away. "No, something's wrong." Sarah looked pale now. "You're grieving. You're imagining things." No, I'm finally seeing them. The guy got in the car and drove off. Sarah didn't say goodbye. Just walked back inside like she needed to disappear. Jake opened the door for me. You coming or not? I stood there, staring at the empty road. I'm not ready to say goodbye. She's gone, man. Maybe, but I'm not done yet. Asterisker. Instagram just went active. Jake stared at me like I was speaking in riddles. I shoved the phone into his hand. Look, a story was posted 3 minutes ago. 3 minutes, Jake. He tapped through. Could be a hacker. It's a picture of her cat. Jake frowned. Same one she posted last year. Yeah, from her bedroom. Same lighting, same curtain. He looked up. You think it's her? I think someone wants me to believe that. He hesitated. You sure you didn't miss this post before? Not losing my mind, Jake. I check her profile every day. Now it's public. Okay, weird. That's not even the worst part. Jake narrowed his eyes. There's more. I got a voicemail last night. From her number. He blinked. What? Was her voice. Breathing. Then she whispered something. Do you miss me? And then it cut off. Jake's hands dropped to his sides. You messing with me? I wish I was. You still have the voicemail? I deleted it. Why would you delete that? Because it scared the hell out of me. Jake scratched his head. All right, this is getting creepy. I went by her old place this morning. Why? Just to see. Crossed his arms. See what? If she was there. Jake scoffed. And Mrs. Willis, the landlady, said, someone's been going in and out at night. She thought it was me. You didn't tell her it wasn't? I told her I'd been staying away. She looked spooked. Jake sighed. You think she faked it? I don't know what to think. Leaned against the wall. What about Sarah? She's been ghosting me. She was already acting weird at the funeral. Exactly, you think she's involved? I don't think she's innocent. Jake looked toward the window. What are you going to do? I want to go back there. Stake it out. He raised a brow. Dude, I'm serious. That's insane. I saw someone outside my door last night. A shadow. Tall female. Jake groaned. Could have been anyone. When I opened the door, she was gone. You're scaring me, man. I'm scaring myself. You need sleep. I need answers. Jake rubbed his forehead. Okay, let's say she is alive. Why do this? I don't know. Revenge? A game? Maybe I failed some twisted test. Jake's eyes narrowed. Failed what? She always said I was too emotionally shut off. Jake didn't answer. I think she wanted to see if I'd break. Jake stayed quiet. I sighed. There's one more thing, he groaned. Seriously? Found a receipt at her place? Dated 3 days ago. Coffee, downtown. Could have been Sarah. Paid with Emily's card. Jake looked stunned. She's not dead, Jake. Or if she is, someone's keeping her memory alive way too convincingly. He rubbed his neck. You want to go to the cafe? No. I want to find the delivery guy from yesterday. What delivery guy? Mrs. Willis said someone delivered a package and asked for Emily by name. Jake looked skeptical. Got a name, Tom? Works for a courier service? Jake exhaled hard. This is like a movie, except I'm the idiot protagonist. You're not an idiot. Just heartbroken. Yeah, well, heartbreak doesn't leave Instagram stories. Jake pulled out his phone. Want me to call the courier company? I already did. I got his number. He's meeting me tonight. Jake blinked. Wait, you already arranged this? Did it this morning? Man, you're really going? Down the rabbit hole, wouldn't you? Paused. Yeah, I guess I would. We met Tom in a diner just before sunset. Greasy food. Greasier booths. Thanks for coming, I said. He sat down, sipping his soda. You said this was about a delivery? I nodded. 2 for B. Willow Court. Do you remember who signed for it? He squinted. Last name, Evans. He leaned back. Emily Evans. I nodded. He frowned. Yeah, I remember. She opened the door herself. Jake and I froze. You saw her face? Tom nodded. Brown hair, green eyes, maybe 5'6". Pretty. My chest thud dead. Jake leaned forward. You sure? Yeah, she smiled. Signed for the box. Said, "Thanks, Tom." Like, she knew me. When was this? I asked. 4 days ago. 4? He nodded. Why? She died 2 weeks ago. Tom paled. What? She had a funeral. A coffin. The whole thing. He shook his head. No way. That girl was very much alive. Even made a joke about not trusting deadlines. Thought she was being clever. I gripped the edge of the table. You're absolutely sure? Positive. Jake cursed under his breath. Tom looked between us. Is this a prank? No, I said. But someone's playing one on me. Tom slowly stood. Look, man, I just deliver boxes. That's it. I appreciate it. He left fast. I stared at my reflection in the diner window. Jake spoke quietly. She's alive. I nodded. Yeah, and she wants me to know it. I shouldn't be doing this. I whispered to myself as I jimmied the lock. The door creaked open like it hadn't moved in weeks. Emily's apartment smelled the same lavender and coffee. Everything was still in place. The throw blanket on the couch, her half-read novel on the armrest, like she'd just stepped out for groceries. I walked in slowly. Jake's voice buzzed in my ear from the phone. You're inside. Yeah, you sure no one's watching? Dead sure? Poor choice of words. I hung up. I didn't. Flip on the lights. Fingers trailed the edge of the table as I moved toward the bedroom. Something wasn't right. If she faked her death, why leave everything so intact? I opened her closet. Still full shoes, coats, scarves, nothing missing. I pulled the bed skirt up. That's when I saw it. A notebook. I grabbed it into the frame. I grabbed it and flipped it open. Not a diary. Confession, pain makes love real. He never cries. Not even for me. Maybe if I vanish, he'll feel something. I turned to a page with a date, just 3 days before the funeral. If he doesn't cry, he never loved me. I sank onto the floor, the book in my lap. So that was it. She wanted proof. She wanted pain. A key turned in the front door. I froze. Footsteps. I slipped into the bathroom, closed the door softly, and pressed my ear to the wall. Is someone here? A voice called. It was a woman older, calm. I cracked the door an inch. Emily's mom stood in the hallway. Emily, she said softly. I know what you did. I held my breath. She moved toward the kitchen and set something on the counter. A small bouquet of lilies. I told you this would backfire. I begged you not to. My heart pounded. She's alive, I whispered. I waited until the front door clicked shut again. Then I came out, still gripping the journal. The flowers stared at me like an accusation. I left through the fire escape. At the station, Detective Barnes wasn't thrilled to see me. You again? He grunted, sipping coffee. What now? I need to file a report. He raised an eyebrow. About what? Girlfriend faked her death. He set the coffee down. Excuse me? I placed the journal on his desk. This proves it. He opened it, scanned a few pages, then looked at me like I was insane. This reads like poetry, he said. Not a confession, she planned. The funeral. Everything. He leaned back. You broke into her apartment to get this? I had a key? Do you still live there? No. Then it's breaking and entering. I'm telling you the truth. He folded his arms. You need sleep, therapy, not a police report. I stood. You think I'm crazy? I think grief messes with people. I heard her voice. I saw her online. A delivery guy swears he saw her name. Tom Courier Service. He described her perfectly. Barnes sighed. Even if she is alive, staging her death isn't a crime unless she filed legal death papers or defrauded. Someone. She made me bury her, did she? He asked. Or did someone else? I clenched my fists. She made everyone believe she was dead. Isn't that fraud? Against whom? I was silent. Exactly, Barnes said. No crime, no case. So she gets away with it? Unless you've got a body or lack of one eye, can't help. I grabbed the journal. You'll see, he shrugged. Maybe you're chasing a ghost. Back home, I tossed the journal onto my desk. Jake called. "Please tell me you didn't break in." "I did," he groaned. "And found her journal? Was it proof? She faked everything to see if I'd cry?" "What?" "She wanted to test my love." Jake paused. "Dude, that's insane." "Yeah. She thinks emotions equal love. She's not stable. Her mom showed up while I was there." "What?" "She knows Emily's alive. She even said it out loud." "Then why isn't she doing anything? Because she's complicit or scared?" Jake sighed. "Where does this leave you?" "Exactly where she wants me." Went quiet. Sat back in my chair. "She's watching." "You think she's nearby?" "I think she never left." "What are you gonna do?" "I'm gonna find her." Asterisk, I found Sarah behind the coffee shop, pacing and smoking like she was waiting for a storm. "You came," she said quietly. "You owe me the truth," I said. She dropped the cigarette and crushed it under her shoe. "I know, so start talking." "She planned it," she whispered. I stared. "Emily. She wanted to disappear. Not for good, just long enough to see who'd break. Break. She didn't believe you loved her. It's insane. She said you were too calm, too quiet. That. You didn't show enough. 8. Wanted me to cry on command?" Sarah looked away.
Oh.
She said, "If he mourns me, he's mine. If he moves on, he never was. That's sick." "She didn't mean to hurt you. Stop," I snapped. "She buried me alive." Sarah's voice cracked. "I told her not to do it. I begged her. Yet you said nothing. She made me swear. She said you needed to be tested. So she fakes her death and watches me fall apart like it's a game. She thought you'd chase her. I buried her. I know." I stepped back. "Now, because I saw your face at the funeral, you didn't cry, but your eyes, you were hollow. I was dying inside." She saw the footage. "What footage?" "She had someone record the funeral. She watched it." I felt my blood freeze. "You're kidding," she called me after. She sounded disappointed. She wanted me to perform grief. Sarah wiped her eyes. "She thinks pain equals proof." "Where is she?" Sarah hesitated. "I shouldn't. You owe me." She mentioned a cabin back in college. Said if she ever needed to disappear, she'd go there. "Where?" "Lake Mason. Middle of nowhere. It's her family's old place." I nodded slowly. "You still in touch?" "Not anymore. She stopped answering last week." "Good." Sarah blinked. "Why?" "Because I'm not calling." "You're going?" "She wanted to see pain." I turned. "She's about to meet it." I packed that night. Bag, charger, journal, knife. Just in case. Jake called. "Where are you on the road?" "To her cabin. Lake Mason. You found her," Sarah confessed. Gave me a location. Jake paused. "You sure about this?" "She wants me to come. I'm just doing what she wanted." "Revenge? Answers? You're scaring me." "I'm past scared." Jake sighed. "What if she's dangerous?" Already was. The road got darker the deeper I drove. My GPS blinked out 5 miles before the cabin. Trees thickened. Fog swallowed the headlights. I parked outside. A gate wrapped in vines. Beyond it dashed silence. My heart pounded. I walked the path slowly, the gravel crunching under my boots. Her cabin stood still, small, and dimly lit. Someone was home. I knocked. Nothing knocked. Again, the door creaked open, and then I heard her voice. "Of course you came." Asterisk. The door creaked open, and there she was. Emily, smiling like a ghost that never left. "You found me," she said softly. I stood frozen. "You're alive." She tilted her head. "Didn't think I'd let you off that easy. You faked your death." Her smile grew. "Technically, I disappeared. You had a funeral. Dramatic, wasn't it?" My fists clenched. "People," cried, "your mother, your friends, me." "But not tears," she said, stepping closer. "Not real ones." I stared. "What?" "You didn't cry? You disappeared." "You didn't cry," she repeated, like that was the only thing that mattered. "I buried an empty casket. I needed to know." "Know what?" If you felt anything. I laughed bitterly. You watched my life fall apart from a screen. She shrugged. I had to see it. What are you? By filming me like I'm some kind of lab rat? You grieved? It's just not the way I expected. I nearly lost my mind. But you didn't cry, she whispered again. Eyes locked on mine. My voice dropped. So this was a test? Everything. Love is. No, love is trust. This. I gestured around. This is psychotic. She blinked. You think I'm crazy? I think you're cruel? You didn't cry? And if I had, she smiled. I'd have come back sooner. My stomach turned. You're serious. I needed proof. Something real. I looked around the cabin. Camera's lenses tucked in corners. A monitor on the table paused on my funeral. You filmed it all? I had to see your face. You wanted pain. I wanted truth, I whispered. And I wanted you. She looked down. Did you mean it? I gave you everything I had, but you were so composed. I was numb, shocked. What grief looks like sometimes? Not for me. Because you don't feel pain, you cause it. That's not fair. No, it's not. She sat on the old couch, crossing her legs like she was hosting a talk show. You came, though, she said. I came for answers. And now I took a deep breath. Now I see it clearly. See what? You didn't want love? You wanted control? That's not. You set the rules, staged the play, watched the audience react. You filmed my breakdown. You didn't break. I did, I said coldly, just not how you wanted. She leaned back. So what now? You kill me? Stared. You think this is funny? She grinned, a little. I should walk away, but you won't. I said. Walking slowly toward the desk? Because I'm not leaving empty-handed. Don't touch that, you filmed. It all right? It's my property. I picked up a hard drive. You made my grief content. Now, it's evidence. Her smile faded. What are you doing? Making sure someone sees the real you? You'll destroy me. Already did. You said you loved me. I did. And now, I love peace more. She stood. Please, don't beg. It doesn't suit you. Her eyes shimmered. Can't expose me? You sure? She stepped back. You'll regret this. No, I said, pocketing the drive. This time, I'm the one watching you. Break. Give it back, she said, blocking the door. I didn't answer. You can't just steal my things. I looked her dead in the eye. You stole my life. You're overreacting. I held up the phone. Okay, is this overreacting? That down. I already copied everything. You're bluffing. I smirked. Check your cloud. She ran to her laptop. A pause. Her face dropped. You had no right. No right. I stepped closer. You filmed my pain. Took notes. Laughed. I didn't laugh. You wrote it in your journal. If he doesn't cry, he never loved me. That's what this was, right? She froze. I held up the little black book. You wanted proof? Now you've got it. You don't understand. No, Emily, you don't. She walked toward me slowly. Please don't do this. I'm not doing anything. I'm just sharing the truth. You'll ruin me. You ruined yourself. You said you weren't leaving empty-handed. I'm not. I'm leaving with the truth. Tears welled in her eyes. I made a mistake. No. A mistake is forgetting someone's birthday. You faked your death. I was scared. You were calculating. I needed to know if you'd care. I did. But that's not love. You wanted pain. Proof. You wanted me broken. I didn't mean to stop. Silence. She whispered. Don't share it, please. I turned to leave. Wait. She called. Let's talk. We can fix this. I didn't look back. Don't walk out on me. I stopped at the door.
I smiled for the camera, Emily.
She screamed, You're sick. No, I said quietly. I was in love. Walked. For miles. Got on the next bus. No destination, just distance by midnight. Everything was uploaded. Anonymous account. Private links. Files. Videos. Screenshots. Her voice over mine. Her laugh. Her whisper. He didn't cry. The journal entry went at the top. If he doesn't Cry, he never loved me. And I left a caption. He cried in silence. But silence doesn't count, right? I turned off my phone. 3 days later, the world knew her name. She faked her own death. She filmed his grief. She called it an experiment. My inbox overflowed. Reporters, strangers, survivors of emotional abuse, I ignored. Them all. Then Emily called. I declined. She called again. Voicemail after voicemail. Please. I didn't mean it. They fired me. My mom won't speak to me. You destroyed me. Are you happy now? Played. The last one twice. Please talk to me. I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry. And I deleted it. Sarah texted. Sarah, was that you? Me. Truth has a way of speaking for itself. Sarah A., she's not okay. Me. Neither was I, Sarah. What happens now? Me. Now she disappears for real. A week passed. No more Vamist. Her social accounts vanished. Her job was gone. Her face was on every gossip, blog, and crime. Podcast, she became what she pretended to be, dead to the world. I stood at the lake one evening. Same place. I found her. No cameras now. No performances. Just silence. My silence. It said everything she never let me say. And I whispered, I did cry. The water rippled. I turned and walked away. Asterisk, you know what's funny? I said, staring at the empty church. Sarah glanced at me. What? She finally got her funeral. Sarah didn't smile. There's no one here. Exactly. Just the echo of our footsteps. The faded smell of lilies, and a closed casket with nothing inside. Just ashes. It's metaphorical and otherwise. Why are you even doing this? Sarah asked. I needed closure. There's no one to bury. Not burying her. I'm burying the version of me who loved her. Silence. She walked with me to the front row. We sat. I whispered, Do you remember the first one? Of course you didn't speak to anyone. Couldn't. Everything felt fake. Sarah sighed. She made sure of that. Now this one's fake too, but at least it's mine. She studied my face. Are you okay? No, but I'm done pretending I ever was. Pause. I'm proud of you, she said. I looked at her. For what? For surviving her. I shook my head. No, for surviving myself. We sat there, staring at the casket that held nothing but memory. I cried last night, I said suddenly. She reached for my hand. For her. No, for me. She nodded. That's different. It is. I stood, walked to the front, and faced the emptiness. This is for the boy who waited for calls that never came, I said softly. Sarah stayed quiet behind me. This is for the man who begged a ghost to come back. For the version of me who believed lies because they were pretty. I felt the tightness in my chest loosen. I loved her. That part was real, Sarah whispered. But she didn't love you. She loved the way I hurt. She loved the control. She loved the show. Turned to face Sarah. She said, if he doesn't cry, he never loved me. So I didn't cry. You're crying now, I nodded, because I loved me. Finally, she smiled gently. Say goodbye. I looked at the casket again. Goodbye, Emily, I said. You're not haunting me anymore. I paused. And goodbye to the part of me that needed your approval. Sarah whispered amen. We left the church in silence. Outside, the sun felt sharp, like the first breath after holding it too long. What now? She asked. I moved forward with what? Myself. Laughed lightly. You sound like a poet. I'm just a man who learned the cost of love. And I finally broke even. She grinned. Do you still hate her? No. Hate means I still care. Sarah nodded. I said she wanted a reaction. Shh. She got silence. That's louder than any scream. You think she'll ever come back? No, I said firmly. She's gone. Even if she tries, she'll be a ghost. Sarah looked up at the sky. You seem free. I am. For the first time, we walked. To the car, I stopped at the door and turned. This isn't the end, I said. It's not. It's a beginning. She raised a brow. Of what, me? Later that night, I lit a single candle on my balcony. No photos. No phone. No journal. Just air. Stillness. I whispered, "Rest in peace, Emily." And I blew it out. And 4. The first time in a long time, I breathed in peace. Asterisk mail for you. The old man at the front desk said, "I don't get mail," I replied. He held up a plain white envelope. "Well, you do now." I took it. No return address, but I knew the handwriting. I knew it better than my own. Back in the cabin, I stared at it. It stared back. Finally, I tore it open. "Dear you," it began. I laughed bitterly. Still can't. "Say my name?" I kept reading. "I didn't think you'd go that far." "I didn't mean to ruin you," I whispered. "You didn't ruin me. Shh. You revealed me." The next line, "I miss you. I thought you'd understand. It was never supposed to be forever." Of course it wasn't. It was a game to you. My hand shook. "I'm sorry, I really am. I thought you'd cry and call. But you didn't. You let me die." I clenched my jaw. "You buried yourself." I kept reading. The page was smudged. Maybe tears, maybe not. I just wanted to feel something again, and you always made me feel. I stood, walked outside. The wind was colder than I expected. The cabin, the same place she faked her overdose, where I found. The empty bottle and no body, where I screamed until my throat gave out. I lit a match, held the letter over the flame. The edge curled, then turned black. "This is for me," I whispered. "Not for you." The flames climbed the paper quickly. I dropped it into the fire pit and watched it become ash. "You don't get to have the last word." Behind me, Sarah stepped out. "What was that? A ghost?" She looked at the ashes. She wrote, "Too late." What did she say? That she's sorry? That she misses me? Sarah folded her arms. "And you believe her?" "No, but I believe me." She stepped closer. "Do you regret loving her?" "Regret not." "Loving myself sooner?" She smiled softly. "That's something." I nodded. She wanted me broken. I gave her silence instead, and now I'm whole. And I don't owe her anything. Sarah looked down. Even forgiveness. Gave her that. Quietly. But I never needed her apology. Why not? Because I found peace without it. She nodded. "That's rare." I glanced at her. "Why are you still here?" "Because I see the real you now, and I like him." Sat on the porch steps. She said I let her die. She let herself die the moment she stopped being honest. Tested me like I was an experiment. Sarah sat beside me. "She lost. You lived." I looked at her. She said I made her feel. "You make me feel, too. But I don't need to break you to prove it." We sat in silence. The wind whispered like a memory I didn't want back. She said she didn't think I'd go that far. I muttered. "You didn't," Sarah said. "You just finally let go." I reached into my pocket. Pulled out the torn envelope, the only thing left. "I used to think closure came from answers," I said. "And now I know closure is just peace without permission." Sarah leaned her head on my shoulder. I didn't move. I didn't need anything more. Ashes cooled. The apology was gone. And I. "You're really going on a date?" Sarah asked, her eyebrows raised. "Yeah, why not?" I buttoned my shirt, trying to ignore how tight my chest felt. She leaned against the doorframe. "You've barely talked to anyone since." "You know, I remember," I said. "Every day. So why now?" I looked in the mirror. "Because I want to believe love wasn't the lie." She stayed quiet. "But it was, wasn't it?" I asked. "What? Love?" "At least the kind she offered." Sarah's voice softened. "That wasn't love. No, it was control. Wrapped in affection. A test disguised as devotion." I picked up my jacket. "She made me prove myself over and over," I said. "And you did," Sarah whispered. "Until it broke you." "Not anymore. I'm not that guy." Sarah gave me a sad smile. "You don't have to prove anything tonight." "I know. That's why I'm going." At the cafe, she smiled at me. Her name was Lila. Brown eyes. Voice Easy laughter. So, ... Any major heartbreaks I should know about? She joked. I raised a brow. Is that your opening line? She laughed. Okay, too soon. No, it's fair. Took a sip of coffee. Yeah, I had one. Big enough. To haunt a decade. Her smile dimmed. Still bleeding? No. Just scarred. She nodded. Scars are honest. I looked at her. She faked her death. Lila choked on her drink. I'm sorry, what? Yeah. Said she wanted to see if I'd cry. Disappeared for weeks. Everyone thought she was dead. Jesus. That's next level toxic, I mourned her. Buried who I was because of her? And when she came back, she expected you to thank her? Exactly. Lila leaned back. Oh, that wasn't love. I thought it was. No, that was manipulation. I sighed. I loved her harder. Worse, she treated me. That's what happens when we're taught love has to hurt. I believed it did, I said. Until I didn't. So... What changed? I stopped making excuses for people who enjoyed my pain. Lila nodded. That's growth. I smiled faintly. Still scares me. Dating again? No. Trusting myself. Later, Sarah was waiting in the living room. How'd it go? Didn't fake her death, I said. Low bar? Sarah smirked. I chuckled. She asked real questions. Listened. Didn't flinch. Did you flinch inside? 12 times? But I kept talking. Sarah walked closer. You're healing. Remembering who I was before her, that guy was kind, brave. That guy was naive, was hopeful. There's a difference. I met her gaze. I thought love was loyalty through pain. Sarah shook her head. Love shouldn't be earned through suffering. I know that now. She studied me. Do you still miss her? Thought she was. Do you love her? No, Sarah exhaled.
Out.
Then maybe it's real this time. Maybe. Alone in my room, I stared at the ceiling. I whispered to the dark, I'm not broken, just wiser. I remembered the nights I begged for signs, for meaning in her cruelty. I remembered crying into a pillow while she filmed me secretly. I remembered believing if I just hurt enough, she'd finally stay. But love wasn't a trial. It wasn't sacrifice. And it sure as hell wasn't pain. Love didn't need me to bleed now. I was healing in honesty, not fantasy. I wasn't waiting for apologies. I wasn't clinging to illusions. Love was the lie she told. But truth. Truth was mine now. Asterisk, did you just freeze again? Sarah asked, nudging my shoulder. I blinked. What? You're staring at the crosswalk like it said your name? There was a woman, I said quietly. She looked around. Where? Gone now. But for a second I thought, ... Emily. I nodded. Same coat, same walk. Sarah exhaled. You know she's not here. I know. Doesn't stop my brain from lying to me. At the cafe, I stirred my coffee until it was cold. You look like you saw a ghost, Lila said. I keep seeing her, Emily. Yeah, not really, but kinda. Lila leaned in. Want to talk about it? I thought I buried her memory, you did, she said. But trauma. ... It plants seeds. I gave a hollow laugh. More like weeds. You ever feel like she's watching? Sometimes I still hear her voice. In crowds. Dreams. Lila touched my hand. What does she say? Nothing. Just ... silence. But it's loud. Later that night, I sat in my room. Lights off, phone in hand. I called Sarah. Hey, you good? Nightmare again, I said. She paused. Same one. Almost. I'm back in the cabin. She's not dead. She's laughing. You wake up reaching for her? Every time. You want me to come over? No, I whispered. I just needed to say it out loud. Say what? That I survived. At therapy the next day, I stared at the ceiling. I keep expecting her to pop up again, I told Dr. Haynes. You still feel her presence? She's not here, but she's everywhere. That's not uncommon. She doesn't haunt me with what she did, I said. She haunts me with who I was when she did it. He leaned forward. And who were you? Desperate, naive. In love with a ghost even before she vanished? And now? Now I'm trying to love myself. I met Sarah at the lake. Same place I once waited for Emily. She used to sit here, I said. Sarah nodded. I remember. I kept thinking she'd walk up, say it was all a joke, that she loved me, that the pain meant something. Sarah didn't speak. I kept holding my breath. You're breathing now? I am. We watched the sun set. Do you still love her? She asked. No, but I still grieve the version of her I created. Sarah smiled softly. She was never real, neither was the me who believed in her. Walking home, I passed a woman who wore Emily's perfume. My chest clenched, but I kept walking. No turning back, no looking twice. I heard my own voice in my head. She's gone. You stayed. Yes. That's what matters. At home, I found one of Emily's. Old books in a box I forgot to burn. I held it. Memories rushed in her laughter, her lies, her vanishing act. I whispered, "You don't get to stay." I dropped the book in the fireplace. Flames rose. Ashes followed. I didn't cry. Sarah called later. You okay? Yeah, liar. I smiled. I saw a ghost today, and I told her goodbye. Desk, you really going to do this? Sarah asked as she parked the car. Yeah, I said, unbuckling. I need to see it one last time. You want me to come? No, I need to go alone. She handed me a bottle of water. Don't stay too long. Doorgrave was still there, her fake name, the fake dates, the fake goodbye. Here lies Emily Grace. I read aloud. Daughter, friend, beloved. I snorted. Beloved by who? Cemetery was quiet, peaceful, and absurd. I crouched beside the stone. You really made a gravestone for yourself. Who does that? I sat in the grass and pulled out the note she once left inside the pages of my journal. I had to know if you'd break. You wanted to see me fall apart, I muttered. That was the point, wasn't it? The wind didn't answer. Thing is... I didn't. Later, I called Sarah. You okay? I didn't cry, I said. There was a pause. At all? Nope. How do you feel? Free. And a little stupid for ever feeling trapped. At dinner, Lila leaned forward. You actually went to her grave? I had to, I said, to prove to myself it wasn't sacred, and I laughed. You what? I stood in front of it and laughed. Why? Because I didn't feel anything. It's not anger, not pain, nothing. She smiled. That's healing. That's survival. Walking home, I stopped at the bridge where I once cried for her. This time, I watched the water and felt nothing pulling me under. I whispered, You failed, Emily. I didn't break. I didn't cry. That saved me, Sarah texted. Still thinking about it? I replied. Nope. I'm thinking about Thai food. She sent back a thumbs up emoji and a heart. I smiled. The next day, I boxed up the last of her things. Photos, gifts, old messages. I had printed out and stored like relics. I stood over the trash bin. No tears. No hesitation. Just me, moving forward. Lila called. Are you coming to the lake? Yeah. Just finishing up something. You sound lighter? I am. What changed? I didn't cry. She was quiet. And that ... helped. It saved me. Crying would have meant I still cared. Crying meant I finally didn't. At the lake, I joined Sarah and Leela by the fire pit. I want to make a toast. I said. They raised their glasses. To love, I began. That doesn't test you. Sarah nodded. To healing. To, Lila added. We clinked our glasses later that night. I stood by the water alone. I whispered to the dark, You tried to bury me in your story. I stepped back from the shore, but I didn't drown. I rewrote the ending. And for once I didn't look back. Asterisk. It was raining when I walked past the cabin one last time. It's the same one where she pretended to die, where my world shattered and then reshaped itself. But I didn't stop. I just kept walking. I didn't need a dramatic goodbye. No final words. No inner storm. I had already survived the worst of it. Do you ever miss her? Sarah asked one evening as we shared tea on my balcony. I looked out at the sky. I missed the idea of her, not the reality. She hurt you. She did. I nodded. But she also showed me something I needed to see. Sarah tilted her head. What's that? That I don't have to break just because someone else is broken. She smiled. You're stronger than you think. I sipped my tea. I am, but not because I held it together. Because I let it fall apart and still chose to rebuild. Sometimes I still dream of her. Not in pain, not in love, just as a distant face fading behind glass. She no longer controls my nights. She no longer owns my scars. One afternoon, I walked past a couple arguing outside a bookstore. The girl cried, the guy looked lost. And for a second it took me back to the chaos, the confusion. Hey. But then I kept walking, and I smiled, because I wasn't in that story anymore. I had written my own. Now, when people ask me what happened between us, I don't say she faked her death. I say she tested me and I passed. I don't say she broke me. I say I found myself in the ruins. Love, I learned, isn't about pain. It's not measured in suffering. It's not earned through sacrifice. It's in the quiet choices, the honest moments, the simple peace of being seen without masks, without games. I once begged for her to love me. Now I don't beg for anyone, because the truth is, the real me was always enough. I just had to believe it first, and now I do.